Hey, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. Whether you're watching on the Lenny Schmidt Comedy Network on YouTube or you're listening on podcasts, we have a new intro, new theme song. Let's do this. Hey, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. It is Tuesday night at 6 o'clock if you're tuning in right when I released this episode. It streams Tuesday night at 6 on YouTube, and the pod is released a few minutes later. Today's episode is Louis Johnson, comic out of Denver, Colorado. I worked with on a ship, of course, not too long ago. And this is a cool episode, man. This is a lot of behind the scenes, how we put our careers together, reaching out to clubs, how we put our act together. This is the type of episode I love to do, and I hope you enjoyed. If you like some behind the scenes information as far as comics, if you're a comic and you want to know how we get our work on ships, how we book ourselves, how we produce ourselves, how we market ourselves, Louis and I covered all the bases, man. We talk about podcasts, we talk about live shows, talk about all kinds of stuff. And we did it here on this episode. Man, it was cool. It got away from me. It was over an hour. It's really great. Check it out. Listen to it. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I just really love to, I get lost in. I could talk about forever. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up on the video below. Subscribe to the channel as well. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and follow the platforms or the video. The channel costs you nothing. Helps me out a ton if I get followers, subscribers, all that good stuff. You can follow us on all the socials, Mr. Lenny Schmidt everywhere. Look above me, look below me. There's information on how to follow me on all the different platforms. You can also support the show financially. Go to the website, go to the pay if you can button. The way it works for me is if you watch a video, if you like it and you want to pay for it, pay for it. So you pay after the fact. Like other platforms, you got to join and pay and then watch their stuff before you realize that their stuff is shit. My stuff, you know it's shit immediately. So pay for it afterwards for whatever the shit you think it's worth. Whatever you think the shit is worth. Anyway, sit back and enjoy my conversation with my good friend. You can also become a Patreon member if you really enjoy the shit. Go join the Patreon page. There's all kinds of cool stuff. You get extra content. You get longer episodes. And season 3 of Total Schmidt Show is coming up later this year, and we're going to make some changes. Some really cool stuff for the Patreon followers. So sit back now and enjoy my conversation with Mike. Sit back now. I'm not going to edit this opening at all. I'm just going to put it the way it is. Sit back now and enjoy this conversation with my good friend, Louis Johnson.
One of the questions was, what's the difference between a poor pet and a rich pet? I said, well, shit, a poor pet is a pit bull. A rich pet is a Supreme Court justice. See you guys. I'm a stickler. I just want to be able to hear the audience and me and not have to hear all the chatter behind. That's why, I love the great sound on those.
There's I just dropped a thing on. I work with 800 Pound Gorilla. I do specials on their audio. I just dropped one 2 weeks ago, and we recorded it last year. And they do a great job recording. They got mics all over the room and stuff. Yeah. But all through the editing process, and when I was listening to it, I do a bit about mansplaining, and through the whole bit, you can hear a woman groaning. It's really So when we're editing, I send a note back. I go, hey, can you get rid of that fucking groaning? Is it possible you can get rid of that? And they send it back, and you can't. It's gone. I'm like, oh, that's the best. Thank God, because she was making me crazy through the whole bit, man. So I was like, oh, shut up. I think you did a quarantine comedy on my show. I don't think you've done this one.
Did I do the quarantine?
We did it over the internet, right?
Yeah, because you did my show.
We were same week. It was right around the same week.
Oh,
okay.
Same time. That was a good show that you were on, man. Because that was the one with Dr. Kevin Fitzgerald. Yeah. The guy from Animal Planet. He's a good friend of mine. And he was talking about he was the he worked security for the reggae Sunsplash. Right. On that island. Yeah. And they didn't want the kids swimming in the water. So they went and got a dead horse and chopped it up and chummed the water. And so the fish are going crazy. I mean, the sharks are going crazy. So nobody would go into the water. Yeah, jeez, dude. And you were like, that's the craziest fucking shit I've ever heard.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
Dude, talking about that's old school deterrent stuff. How do you keep them out of the water?
Dude, that dude has lived several lives, man. He was security for the Rolling Stones forever. I think Mick Jagger actually wrote his his entry letter into veterinary school.
Oh, no way! Really?
Yeah, and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were like, "Do you want to be a bouncer forever for us? Or what do you want to do?" He goes, "I like working with animals." So they wrote him a letter as an introduction to get him in the veterinary school.
Dude, how do you turn down that letter?
Dude,
if you're reading that, you're like, "Is this Mick Jagger?"
Yeah, but then these are the kind of people we get to hang out with.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's cool about what we do, man.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's your friends who would never believe the opportunities and people that you've had a chance to meet, the places you've been.
Right.
You know, and you might, I don't know if you still have any friends from when you were a teenager.
Oh, tons, dude. I talked to a bunch of people from high school a lot.
Oh, okay. So they would still, I mean, you know them, they know you, but they would never believe some of the stuff you've gotten to see.
Right.
That now you think of as like, oh yeah, that's Alaska. Oh yeah, that's the Hubbard Glacier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Australia. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, that's Honduras. That's Mexico. That's
or the little things about traveling that people don't realize. You know what I mean? They're like, why do you need this? I go, well, first of all, get a thing. Well, I got this pouch right there. It's got my passport in it. It's got all my everything you need is right there. So I hate to be stuck behind somebody digging through their bags. Like, do you really think they were going to ask for your passport?
They would never understand. So why are you buying sandwich bags?
Yeah.
So I could put all my wires in it.
Yeah.
So once you just get like a really special bag, why?
Yeah.
As long as everything is separated, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then you wonder, and then you ever have somebody tell you, oh yeah, my shampoo exploded in my bag.
Yeah.
Like, really? How do you not know to wrap that in plastic or double and all that stuff?
Or we use the little pieces of plastic, you put it on the top and screw it over the top.
Yeah.
So, and if I check a bag, I do that every time. And you know what I do now too? Vince Morris turned me onto this. I carry a French press with me, and I grind my own coffee, and I bring it, and all I need is hot water, and I can get a good cup of coffee no matter where I'm at.
See, I'm just the opposite. If you go to my cabin right now, you open the refrigerator.
Yeah.
There's a big bottle of a creamer.
Yeah.
So I buy like the creamer at the store.
Right.
So right now I've got the caramel macchiato. I was upstairs this morning. I get the coffee they have here.
Yeah.
I pour some caramel macchiato in there and mix it up. I don't get the powder. I get the actual the liquid.
It's better.
Yeah, because for what? For $5 or $6, I could save myself a couple $100 on the ship.
Sure.
Because I used to get on the ships and go to that damn coffee shop all the time, and I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Well, I went today, but because they cleaned out my account today, I only had like $2 left on it. I go, well, I'll get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, you mean your cruise EBT card?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I pull everything off, but usually I just make my own coffee, and then I got a water thing too, which a lot of times I don't buy water. I carry this with me everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
I can see Vince having the French press because Vince is extra.
He is extra.
That's my guy.
I love him.
Hey man,
he's a little extra.
That's my guy, man.
We went to the steakhouse. He gets the finest bottle of wine. You know, he's like, it's his deal.
Hey man, we traveled together. We traveled together for 7 years, man.
Did you really?
Me, Vince Morris, Billy D. Washington, and BT.
What tour?
We had a tour called the Sellout Comedy Tour.
Okay.
And it was a special thing.
That's a killer show, bro.
Dude, it was a theater show. We went from clubs to theaters, and it was great. 7 years of that, man.
Yeah.
7 years.
That's
4
cool.
alphas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How'd you figure out the closing thing? Did you rotate or?
No, we put the guy with the most energy in the front, which is BT.
Yeah.
And then we
dude, energy.
Yeah,
that guy's got more energy.
Yeah, it's like there's four personalities in the show.
Yeah,
you got BT, who is like rock and roll hillbilly, right, and you got me. I'm like your everyman. I'm probably the one out of the group who would get invited to your house for dinner, right. Then you got Billy. He's like a poet, playwright, ex-cop, right. And then you got Vince, who's like Malcolm X telling jokes.
Yeah.
So we just did, and we were all four of us different. So that was the appeal of it. Yeah. And it was an actual theater show.
That's great.
It wasn't just four guys coming up and doing stand up.
No.
It was actual theater. We had a theatrical opening.
Yeah.
And it was
a whole piece.
It
wasn't just go do 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Yeah, each guy did like 15 minutes, and at the end we did the Q&A thing where we had already passed out questionnaires to the audience.
Yeah.
And we found out the best way for us to get the best questions was to not try to get people's information. So it wasn't a slip.
Oh, so it wasn't feel like it was an email.
Yeah, it wasn't an email slip. It was just a slip that said, ask a black man anything you want to know, but we're afraid to ask. And so people would just anonymously send them up there. And then at one point, we got a burner phone so that you could actually text your question to us.
Oh, really? Oh, right on.
So we had the questions in a bucket.
So you could do them live in real time?
Well, yeah. Because they collect the slips throughout the show.
Yeah, right.
And then they bring them up to us. So while one guy's on stage, everybody else in the back going through the questions, and when you get back there, you go through the questions. So that way, it was good because that way, if one guy was off that night, the other three were still on.
Yeah, right.
So there was always somebody within the four who was just killing it that night answering questions. And then some nights, dude, the best when all four guys were hitting.
Yeah.
And somebody you read a question and everybody's just bam, bam, bam. And then we got to the point where even if you knew you had like a killer, but the last guy just answered the question and just killed it.
Yeah.
You just go to the next question.
Yeah. Right. No, you paste it. Yeah. You go. You read the performance. That's clever.
Yeah.
Some guy crushes you. Well, then I'll just save this a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like improv. If you're doing improv, you have a line and somebody nails something. You go, I'm gonna space this out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because I was in an improv group, improv / sketch group, long time ago. With two guys one guy you probably remember, Steve McGrew and Michael Florwax.
Yeah, no, my relatives.
Yeah, we used to travel together
on the road. Yeah,
we did. We had a group called Brains on the Dash.
Okay.
And we did about maybe 9 or 10 cities together.
Yeah.
And we did shows around Colorado, but we had a great time.
Yeah, we did. Well, I did all this Chicago stuff. I did the IO Improv Olympic and worked with Del Close, and then we wrote and did a bunch of sketch shows all over the city. So it was right before I moved to LA. But I love doing the long form improv stuff because it's like that. You read the performance. If you're good and you know everybody so well, you almost know right away. I know that Lewis is going to do this next, so I know I'm going to save this for later. You start to read. You start to know you know each other. It's like musicians, like a jazz musician.
Yeah, that's what would happen with us, man. Like we would know which questions should go to certain people.
Right. Yeah. Right. And this one's for Billy.
BT would probably read it.
Yeah.
But everybody knows the answer's going to be with Vince.
Right.
Or I could read it, and the answer's going to be with Billy.
Right.
And then Vince might tag it, and BT's laughing his ass off, and it was great, man. And by the way, man, much love to BT because he just went through that accident.
I didn't hear about this.
Oh yeah, man, he almost lost his leg, dude.
Oh,
so was he
racing?
He was riding his bike, and I think what happened was like a parking pallet or something was left out on the road. He was riding his bike, and I
didn't hear anything about this.
Yeah, so we tried to raise like $20,000 for him, and I think they got up to like 18 or 19,000. They raised for him.
I missed that on social media.
Dude, I'll send you the link that
you got a GoFundMe or something?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was on a GoFundMe. They raised almost $20,000 for him.
Oh yeah, hit me with that so I know, and I'll send him a message too. I love that guy.
He's finally he's out of the hospital now, and he's back to doing his podcast with his friend.
Right.
The Sorry We're Canceled.
Yeah.
that podcast.
Yeah.
And so much love to him because BT was the opening act for our show.
Right.
And we would always sit in the back wings because after we had like a video intro, and then the lights would come up, and all four of us are on stage.
Yeah.
And they had a special light for each one of us. And we each would say to the audience, take like 30 to 60 seconds, what we think a sellout is.
Okay.
Right? And then the lights would go down, and then you hear BT's intro, and BT would walk out. And after his intro, if the crowd went crazy, we'd be sitting in the wings going, yeah, this is gonna be a good show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a great show.
Yeah.
And then BT would just slam them for like 15 minutes, just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And then it was me, and then Billy, and then Vince.
That's a great.
And then we all come back out. But BT was integral in that because he would set the pace.
He would set the tone.
Yeah.
He's got so much power and energy. He's like a bomb on stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's like that all day long. You know what I mean? Like we've gone to the crew bar where he doesn't drink, but we're in the crew bar. It's 2:00 in the morning. He's jacked up. You know, he's always on the.
You don't want to be around him when he drinks because he only has like that much body fat.
Oh,
so
right.
when he drinks, dude, we were in Vegas once, and he'll tell you this.
Yeah.
We were in Vegas once, and we just finished doing a couple shows, so we took over the karaoke bar, and we're all drinking, and BT starts drinking, and it felt like he was sitting right next to me talking, but he was actually all the way across the room. And we're like, right, damn, he's loud.
He fills the room, man.
Yeah.
He's like, what is?
He's loud, and then Vince has that laugh that's loud.
Yeah.
So we just me and Billy in the middle going, this is fucking crazy. Right?
Vince cracks me up because he's got that loud laugh, and he's one of those guys that laughs and runs away. You know what I mean? He'll like, and he'll run like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did Vince go? He'll come running back.
Yeah, and Billy's real dry.
Yeah, right,
Billy can. It's like, yo, man, that was. Oh God. Okay, I got you. Okay, that was. All right, Mr.
Dude, what a great
I'm
time.
Mr. Wordsmith. All right.
That'd be so much fun, Mr. Wordsmith.
Yeah.
You're right. He's that guy.
We had a great time, man. I remember we had an honorary member that we were hoping, because she kept telling us, I want to be part of the team. I want to be part of the team. And Adele Gibbons was like, I want to be part of the team. If y'all ever need a woman in there,
right.
Dude, I would have loved to have had Adele in there, especially during that Q&A session with us.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's dynamite.
Ridiculous.
Dude, another cool thing about that is those are 4 professionals. You know what I mean? Like I've worked with people, I've been on the road with people before. We're like, where the fuck is Tommy? Or it's always they're not professional. They don't show up when they're supposed to. They're late for their flights. They don't follow their time. They don't hit their cues. They don't whatever it is. They're just asses, and they just think they're funny and they can get away with it. You can be funny, but hit your time, hit your mark.
Yeah, we had our problems, man. But for the 90% of it, man, 94% of it, it was all professional. Right. I mean, whenever we go to theaters, it was delegated. You're gonna work with the sound and lighting guy. You're working with the stage techs. You're setting up merchandise.
Yeah.
You're working with the promoter.
Right.
So everybody had their own, and those jobs rotated, but everybody had their own section they were supposed to take care of.
Right, that's good.
So yeah, although it was, what was bad was the merchandise always circulated, but after every tour, one of us had to take the merchandise.
Right.
And so you always knew if BT had the merchandise, it was not gonna come back neat for the next one. Like I would get the merchandise, and I'm real anal retentive and stickler.
Putting in areas and stuff.
I folded up all the T-shirts. Sure. I put them all in. And this is double XL. This is XL. This is medium. This is small.
BT just throws it on a big.
These are the pink shirts. These are the black shirts. I got all the different. I got everything separated. And BT, like you said, you get to the venue, and BT's just pulling that out. And you go, what do they want? What do they want? XL?
He's jiggling.
Dude, come on, man. What did you do while you had the bag? You just
You just threw it in there, just waited it out?
Yeah, I would have our DVDs and our CDs are all set up separately and stuff.
Organized.
BT
so you can grab it without even looking? What do you need? You double XL? I got it right here.
Yeah. What do you want? You want the DVD or the CD? Really? Okay, bang. There it is. So yeah, we had good times, man.
Oh man, dude, that'd be so much fun. That'd be a fun run. How long ago is this?
Shoot, man, this is going on what? I might have been. I think the last ones we did were maybe 5 or 6 years ago. No, that was 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah,
so just before a year or two before COVID.
Yeah, like a year or two before COVID.
That's pretty cool. That's nice because you were off for ships then for a while. You know what I mean?
No, I was. In fact, I was the only one doing ships then.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the only one doing the ships. So yeah, it was like we just worked around the schedule. Now everybody's doing ships.
Yeah, right.
But I've been doing ships for like man, since for 20 years now.
No shit, really.
Yeah. It's like on this, like, you have some lines you have an employee ID number.
Yeah.
I've had guys on Carnival come to the comedy club and say, "Yeah, I just wanted to take a look at you." I'm like, "For what?" Because I saw your employee ID number.
Yeah.
Because they're in the fives.
Like
they're in the 500s.
Right.
I'm in the 200s.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm nowhere near Happy Cole. I mean, Happy Cole's employee ID number, I think, is 14.
No way.
So that's how long Happy.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's how long Happy's been with the company.
Right, 100%.
In fact, Happy has had. He told me himself he's had 2 employee ID numbers, because for a while it was just 4 digits.
Yeah.
It was 4. I think it was 5 digits.
Yeah.
Now we have 6 digits, right? So when it was Happy was here when they just had 5 digits.
Okay.
And then once they moved to 6, they had to give him a new number. So
really?
Yeah. So he's still been here the longest.
They didn't throw his 0 at the front of his.
I think they just put a 1 in front of him.
That's what I'm saying.
So he's in the one. He's in the 100s.
Yeah.
Where I'm in the 200s, and I think everybody else is in 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I'm 4.
Yeah, when I first started with Carnival, it was a passenger cabins and passenger manifest.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had Happy on the show, and he told a bunch of those. He told a bunch of stories from working the ships back in the day.
That's my big brother, man. I wouldn't be on ships if it wasn't for Happy Cole.
Dude, he paved the way really for all of us.
Yeah, he just he gave me the information. And I tried to do what everybody else wasn't doing. Right. I tried to go, okay, all I need is the information. You don't have to give me a recommendation or anything. If you want to, you can. But I said, all I need is the information. Right. And then I'll work it from there. Right. And so even though he told the guy, yeah, you should book him, dude, I went at that guy, the guy that used to book the ships for a long time ago. I think I went back and forth with him for like 6 months. And then one day he called me up and said, "Hey, what are you doing next month? I got some ships." And
was this Chris back then?
I think that's who it was. Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, I went from there because I used to have a system. I don't know did you have a system when you were booking clubs as far as working with bookers?
What do you mean? Well, I kind of did. Well, I remember sending out videotapes.
Yeah, we sent out VHS back in the day.
I remember I used to buy those by bulk, like.
Exactly.
10-minute, 15-minute videotapes. In fact, I had a box of them. Left over. What the fuck am I going to do with these tapes?
Yeah, I still got that. I still have the old DVD cases.
But I had a whole package.
I sold cassettes back in the day.
Yeah, I sold
cassettes. That's how far back we go.
But I did have a package I sent bookers that was. I had a resume, a bio, all the stuff I did myself, and put it into a pouch with the tape, closed it, and I would go to the post office with the boxes of 20 of these. And send them all over the place, and then start calling and then working the phones. I back then you had to call.
Yeah, see, I was crazy with it, man. I used to have a system. Like the first day, the first week, I would send out actual mail. Right. The next week, I send out a postcard. Oh, okay. The third week, I send out a fax.
Oh, that's okay.
Right.
That's cool.
And then the fourth week, so I sent out. Let's see. First week was the mail. Next week was the postcard. Next week was the fax, and then that was back when email was first starting. I send the email, and I would call. Right. So like it'd be 4 weeks of that, and then I take a week off. Okay. So basically, the only time they'd probably hear from me once a month on a phone call. Right. But every other week they're getting something.
That's pretty smart. That's smart.
So and it kept my mindset. It kept me from going crazy. Yeah. Because you know how if you're calling week after week, at some point you just go, man, fuck this.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
I'm not fucking calling these people no more. Why would I fucking do this?
Yeah, and I got to the point too where I was like, if you don't want to book me, then tell me and I'll stop calling you. I'm fine with that. This is a business. I'm not going to take it personally. Yeah. But I would call when I got their number and say that the package was on its way, then I would send the package. I would call a few days later. I never did a follow-up card or fax or any of that.
What was your phone script when you called somebody? Because I had a script.
Oh, did you really?
Well, I used to go to the library because most comics don't know this. We used to have to go to the library to get everything.
Right.
Right. And I found a book at the library once. It was all these phone scripts on how to make calls, cold calls.
Yeah.
And so I started incorporating that into it's like
pitching.
So I got my notebook there. Like say I'm calling Chuckle Hut in Bucktown, USA. I call up and I say, hey, this is Louis Johnson. I'm a comedian. I was just wondering who. I said, first of all, I said, this is Louis Johnson. Who am I talking to? And, oh, this is Sally. I write down Sally's name.
Right.
And I say, I'm just calling not to talk to the booker. I just want to find out who the booker is and what is the best time to call them. And then Sally would say, oh, yeah, you call them on Thursdays at 4 o'clock. And I write that down. I go, thanks a lot, Sally.
Right.
Hang up the phone.
Right.
Next time I call in that same club, I got the script. They go, hey, this is Chuck. I say, hey, is this Sally? They go, yeah, this is Sally.
Yeah.
They go, hey, Sally, this is Louis Johnson. I called you a few weeks ago. I just wanted to let you know that I've sent some stuff out to the booker, and just if you can just give him a heads up, and I'll give you a call back next week.
Okay.
Right, and I'd probably ask him how's your day doing, and I'd write down that interaction.
Right.
And so by the time I finally get through to somebody, because she's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I knew her name, if she was married, if she had kids.
Yeah, her kids' names.
All
this stuff.
What's the place you go to eat around there? I know all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, I know you're probably just getting back from Applebee's, but I just wanted to see what's up. Oh yeah, we went to Applebee's. Yeah, let me get it. Let me tell them that you're calling. And that's the way I work.
Yeah, you know something personal about them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like selling anything.
Oh yeah.
You call them, how's that softball tournament go? Oh, we took third place.
Yeah.
Right on. That's the I mean.
Is Barney in? Let me talk to Barney. Oh, yeah, let me put you right through. So yeah, and then I had the added thing of where remember we used to have a thing called the comic
the Comedy USA,
the newspaper.
Yeah. Well, did you ever get the big book? Do you remember the old book they used to sell? You had to because it listed it, and then I
still got like 5 or 6.
Every year they updated it. It was like they would have every club or booker in the country listed.
Yeah, but for me, what was good was they had like 2 months of their acts listed.
Yeah.
So I could go through 2 months, and I could send them a note saying, hey, say hi to so-and-so.
Right.
And I list an act that was either there or on the way there.
Right.
And tell them I said hi, looking forward to working with them again. Hey, I have a whole list. I have like a whole little thing.
Right.
And I just say, okay, this is what I have available. Let me know.
Right.
I think the name I put on the postcards back then was hey, your headliner just fell out Productions. and I had the post, I was posted and everything, and it was fun, man. It was fun for a while, and then you get to the point you're like, oh fuck. So that's why I was glad when the USO stuff came up.
Yeah.
And when because I did almost 25 tours for the USO.
Oh, right. That's great.
And when the USO stuff came up and when ships came up, it was great because my mailing list, and you probably had this happen too. My mailing list for postcards went from like almost 500 cards to like 300 cards before you knew it.
Right.
It was great.
Right.
It was great. Loved it.
Well, I use the ship thing. Like the ship thing is great because you get so many weeks. You know what I mean? And then you just fill in the holes with the clips you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I do, there's a Vegas thing I do twice a year, Dallas, a couple other things. And then I'm like, well, I'm taking the rest of the time off. So you get so much booked. So then you do stuff if you want to do stuff.
Yeah.
And the ship thing has helped my land draw in certain gigs where I've been to a gig. I just did a gig in that gig that Johnny Cardinelli books in L.A. It's a small sports bar that he books, but there were 20-something people there that saw me on a ship. And they just, I saw it on the website. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks, man. That's great. Yeah. So you learn they're almost building the email list for you. Well, social media's made it different now because you can just add them. If they join your sites, If they join your site, you're in pretty good shape. But then,
if you're consistent with it, because some guys aren't consistent with it,
and engaging with them is a big deal. Like when somebody mentions, like I said, I drop the album. Every comment I get, I try to make every positive comment I get, or any response whatsoever, I make a comment back. I gloss right over the negative. Like that doesn't bother me.
How long is your block list?
My what?
How long is your blocked list?
Oh, I haven't blocked anyone yet. I just ignore them.
My block list is up to like, I don't know, maybe 3,000 now.
Is it really?
because I'm political too.
On Facebook or
Facebook, my block list might be close to 3,000.
Yeah, politics will add to that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, my block list is very considerable.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I see that I have a bunch of responses, and this weird perverse thing about me, I'm looking forward to blocking people.
Are you really?
Yeah.
It's all part of your game.
Because they'll say something stupid, and I used to engage them, but lately I don't engage. I'll just see like something stupid, like, yeah, you need to get off that plantation.
Yeah.
Block.
Yeah. You're like, why? I used to engage politically back during the Bernie Hillary time when they were going against each other the first time. And then during that time, I spent so much time online commenting about, I was a Bernie guy at the time. I look back at it, I remember the following election cycle coming up, I'm like, why am I spending so much time arguing with people online? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't help anyone. You're not going to convince anyone, first of all. You're not going to no one's ever going to go, oh shit, I never thought about that. You're 100% correct. So, and when people get so stupid, you're like, you can't argue with stupid. That's even more frustrating.
That's only happened 2 or 3 times for me in the space of as long as we've been involved in politics and arguing online. I've only had that happen 2 or 3 times where somebody went, "Oh, I never looked at it that way."
Really? You had someone do that's amazing.
But like I said, only 2 or 3 times.
In all the years of you being online and talking.
And you know what, man? If it ever happens again, I'm screenshotting that shit.
You should.
And I'm gonna that's gonna be like on my page, like this person actually changed their mind because of this. I mean, it's like, because that never, like you said, it never happens.
No, yeah, it's
never happens.
And people, they defend the stupidest shit now. Sometimes they'll defend stuff that makes no sense. And you're like, all right, now you can't even. Or it's like,
we can't even go into it.
You can't get into an argument with someone that's a moron. That's an idiot. You just can't. You got to know. You can tell by the comment. You go, this guy's an idiot. I don't have the 60 hours to sit down and type back.
You know, the other thing is, you ever do this where you see like a great post, but you don't like it because there's like maybe 2 or 3 words misspelled.
Yeah.
And you go, that is a great post.
You're ruining the brilliance of this piece.
Yeah. That is such a great post.
You almost want to be able to spell check it yourself. I wish I could edit this myself and fix those words. It's like you're smart, but you're not.
Yeah. It's like you have so much common sense, except for you don't know how to spell. That's actually, I should write that down. That's actually,
you should. That's very
do that on stage.
Yeah, that's very well.
And that's how this works, folks.
Yeah,
you're just sitting around bullshitting, and next thing you know, you got a possible line that leads to a bit.
Yeah, or you call, like my brother's a comic. We'll sit around and we'll come up with something. And I go, I'm going to use that. Is that cool? Yeah, cool. You always make sure you know who's going to use what line.
I know your brother was a comic, man.
Yeah. Well, he does less road stuff now. He opens for me in Chicago all the time. That's where we're from.
Oh, that's perfect.
So he comes back there. But he's got a podcast. He's been doing a podcast. He hasn't done it for the last couple of months. I'll tell you what, he'll even tell you this. He's brilliant. He's the smartest writer I've ever met in my entire life. And he's quick and fast. But he's the laziest person I know. And he will admit both those things. He'll tell you how brilliant he is, and they go, but I'm lazy as shit.
I wouldn't say my podcast co-host was lazy, because he's not. He's not. He just he would start projects, and then you go, okay, how many episodes of this is Lamont going to do? Because Lamont would start like a brilliant podcast idea, or a brilliant weekly thing. And he would do like 4 or 5 fire pieces on it. Then he's like, okay, I'm done with that. And then he moved to something else. You're like, dude, that was great. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Goes, I might get back to it.
That almost could be his thing. You know what I mean? It almost could be his thing. Because the hardest thing about all of this social media and this is staying consistent. Because every once in a while you get a little, you're like, man, I feel like I'm spinning wheels here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not getting. Sometimes you don't get enough, or you put a video with a lot of hope and look and you go, well, why doesn't that have more hits? That should have more. You know, what did I do wrong on that? Then you read the analytics and you're reading all this stuff, and sometimes you just get.
Will we ever figure out analytics?
No. I've read it. I've listened. There's a book on tape I listened to about this YouTube guy breaking them down, and there's a couple things I've learned that have helped. Just a couple, but a lot of other stuff.
I think it's just grinding, man. Like I was telling you about that guy, Josh Johnson. I think it's just grinding. He put out a new 10 minutes every week for a year.
Yeah.
For a year, and just grew his following, and he's just a prolific writer, and it's like so he's got over 10 hours of original content that he's posted, and so then he started working. He's doing the Daily Show, and he's touring now, and I just think it's
it's consistency too. Do you know Keon Pooley?
No,
he's out of L.A. guy. I've worked with him. He works shifts a little bit here and there, but his YouTube is huge. I mean, it's huge, and he does all these videos. And I was talking to him. I had him on my show a couple times. He's a great guy. He's a good comic. I like him. And I go, he goes, how did you get so many followers? He goes, man. He goes, I'll be honest with you. He goes, I don't know. He goes, but I'll tell you this. He goes, be consistent. Put stuff out all the time. But when one hits, everything before it is going to get hit.
Yeah, because I've had some that like the whatever it raises one. What is it? Raises the boat.
Yeah.
Like I have TikTok videos that have over 500,000 views on them.
Wow, that's great.
Right, yeah, and when I saw that you see that goes, you're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah,
and so that might have 500,000 views. Right, with over 40,000 responses on it.
Right.
And the next one next to it is like 154 views. You're like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
But then when that one starts rising, then you see the other ones rising.
Right.
Like, it's crazy what
every once in a while you'll see one that you put up a year or two ago, and you'll be going through, like I go through all my videos, and every once in a while I go, how did that get up to 4,000 hits? I go, when did that happen? Or when
I'll go through my old stuff. If I see something that's trending, and I know that I've posted about that before,
you put it back out, or
I'll repost it. Like what was it? When Trump got those 34 counts, those 34 felonies.
When he found guilty.
Yeah, when he was found guilty.
Yeah,
I reposted a thing because I had 2 months before that. I had to put a clip out called "Donald Trump's Not Going to Jail."
Right.
And I got it's a really good bit about it. Gets even Republicans will come up to me, that was funny.
Right.
And so as soon as that verdict came down, I reposted that, and that clip took off.
Right. Yeah. See, that's what's great about having. That's what's great about having that content already loaded too.
Yeah.
Because then all you got to do is either you boost the post, or you remix it or re-release it through another format or whatever. Yeah. And I save everything on hard drive anyway, so I can always re-edit it or put the clip up in something in all the different platforms. And
I'm taking this time now, man. Both of us have always posted clips. Right. And so, but I've got 15 years worth of video with a good mic. I've worn a Bluetooth for almost 15 years now, just collecting clips and posting it up every now and then. So I'm getting ready to do a whole series,
dude. And you can attest to this. I'm sure you go across it. I tape most of my ship shows, and I save them on hard drives. Sometimes I go through them the next day. Sometimes I don't. Whatever. But every once in a while, I'll sit down and go back through some old footage. And if you sit down and watch, you can find some gems, man. You're like, why don't I have that up yet?
You have to.
You forget, because we do so many shows in a week, so you forget. Even if it's just a minute or two, you go, that was a great interview to the crowd. It was hilarious.
You're like, you got a bit you've been doing for a while, but then you're looking at it in the back, and there's 2 lines in there that I'm missing.
Right. Yeah. That's
and
another
those
one.
lines used to kill.
Yeah.
Or else the segue from this to that thing used to be perfect, but now I've been backing it up with this bullshit.
Yeah.
And so now it's like trying to build blocks now.
Yeah.
Carlin used to do a thing where he would write and he'd have 2 big screens in front of him.
Okay.
And so he'd be writing on one, and he would have all this stuff up. So he'd go, "Oh, that's great." So he'd take a piece of that one and put it over here. Next thing you know, instead of just a line, he's built a block.
Right.
He's built a block of material. That's badass. You know, and I learned a long time ago. Remember Robert Duback?
Yeah, I used to.
He wrote that book, the Male Intellect, the Oxymoron.
Yeah, I was supposed to do it in Chicago.
Yeah, he bought 2 houses off of that thing.
Yeah.
I asked him once in Denver. I said, "How'd you build a one-man show?" And it stuck with me to this day. I've only tried it once.
Yeah.
But you can do it now with the computer.
Right.
But he said the way he built his one-man show was he went through his entire act. He wrote every joke down on a 3x5 card.
Okay.
And on the back of it, he put the topic, turned it over.
Right.
So when he got done writing everything he had on these cards, he looked at the back of the cards, and this was houses. So he would just pair them all together.
Right.
You know, kids. You know, politics, religion.
Right.
And then he turned the cards over, and he built a block like that.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. And you can do that now.
Sure, yeah.
With your computer and with your phone.
Right.
Although with us, because we're older, you know, these kids now can do this.
I know.
And then I
don't know how they do that.
Yeah, and they can put their phone on a chair.
Yeah.
Or they can put a list, but we're still tactile.
Yeah.
I like.
I still have this.
Yeah, man. This to paper is still the best.
Dude, yeah, I got millions of these. Usually in my notebooks, I got the smaller one.
Yeah.
But dude, every show, last night's set, I get an outline. I do an outline every night.
But there's one thing about all comics that I've noticed, and it doesn't matter if they're new comics writing on their phone or old comics writing on paper. All comics are addicted to stationery stores. Okay.
Even the younger ones now.
Yeah. Dude,
because I used to go in there and buy all kinds of shit, dude. I know what you're talking about. Notebooks that would be like, oh, this will be a good one. I can carry this. This can go in the car. You know
dude,
what I mean?
I saw it, man. I saw it. You know, every year in Colorado, in a bunch of cities now, they do a thing called 50 First Jokes.
Okay.
So in that first month, in January of the first of the year,
yeah.
All the comics do a show. It's called 50 First Jokes, and it might be 75 First Jokes. And what they do is they get 50 comics, and each comic, as they come up there and you tell a joke that you just wrote. It has to be a joke that you just wrote.
Okay.
And that's why it's called 50 First Jokes.
Right.
And the reason why I know comics are addicted to stationery, because the promoter had a stack of notebooks.
Okay.
Nice little notebooks, right? Little small moleskins, right?
Yeah.
Small stack of them.
Yeah.
With the little cool ass Sharpie that went, and he would give those to each comic.
Yeah.
And I swear, every comic was like, oh yeah. Even though they might be writing on their phone,
right.
They would get this pencil, this pen in this notebook, and they would be like, oh. And some of them be walking around, hey, where you get the notebook? Where you get the notebook?
Yeah.
Oh, they got them over there, and they go, oh, can I get my notebook? So yeah, we're all addicted to stationery.
Yeah, because I write stuff out, you know, and then what I'll do when I go back over it, I'll cross words out. I go, okay, I don't need this, and then rewrite it again.
Yeah.
And then go, oh, now this, I should move this down here. And then I'm always moving the structure. And then I tape the show, right? And they listen. I go, you know what, that line belongs here, and this one belongs here, and this is how I close the bit. And so you move it all around. Sometimes you take 2 or 3 bits, put them together, and it's one long bit, and now it's structured correctly. You're like, oh, and that's the way I like it. I mean, for me, feel has a lot to do with it. On stage, it's got to feel right. Like you can look at a paper, but if it doesn't feel right on stage.
And so when you're putting it on paper, you have like it's 2 pieces of paper, right?
Yeah.
You got this one over here where you just putting little scratch notes.
Yeah. Well, this is what
and you're filling it out, and then you move it over to this one.
I open this like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes, so I'll do over here, and then go back over here, and so I'll go back and forth between. That's why most of you don't see a lot of one empty page.
Yeah,
one's always working off the other.
I learned a thing from Titus. Once. There's the clip was on YouTube where he's talking. The guy asked him, "What do you think about comedy writing?" He go, "Okay, this is about to get really boring because we're about to talk about comedy writing."
Right.
But Titus does a thing, and I love it, where he would he's writing the bit out, right? So And I still do this to this day. When I saw that he was doing it and I tried it, it works. So he started writing the bit, and then he skipped down, not to the next line. He skipped to the line up under that. So what he's doing is every other line he's using to write the bit, because what he does is when you go back over the bit, you don't have to fit stuff in there. You got a line.
Oh, so you double space.
He's double spacing it. So when you go back to add stuff or add a tag or something, you can just write it in that line up under it.
That would save me from going from one page to another.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have room and I got to start over in the other page.
Yeah. So
or I'll have a lot of arrows. Like I throw arrows.
Dude, that I stopped doing that. Yeah. I stopped doing once
after a while you go, what does this arrow mean?
Yeah. And then another thing is that you go to Target and buy these. It's called Friction. Buy those pens because they're the best erasable ink pens ever.
Oh, right on.
They're called Friction.
Okay.
Right, best erasable. I'll give you one.
Yeah.
I'll give you one. When I got like 5 of them over here. I'll give you one.
Cool.
But and then you get them in different colors. So like I would write the bit.
Right.
And then if I'm adding something to it, I just change the color of the ink so you can see
that's
an
final
ad.
Draft thing.
Yeah.
You do, yeah.
And the latest thing I want to try a Kanban board.
What's that?
I saw this. Chris Rock tried. Chris Rock does it. Him and his team do a Kanban board. Okay. Kanban board is it's a big board. It's got 3 or 4 sections. So you have let's say the first section is ideas for jokes.
Yeah.
These are lines, and these are bits, and then the next one's finished bits.
Okay.
And so what you do is when you move this line, this idea, that when you get a line for it, you rewrite it and you put it into the lines.
Right.
If you get a bit for it, you think it's a bit, you rewrite it, you move it to that, and then when you think it's almost finished, you move it to that.
Okay.
So you have this series of bits and lines and stuff that's just moving. Yeah. So when Rock goes out, when they're scheduling the show for that night, him and his team will go through and just figure, okay, I don't want to close with that. I want to close with that. I want to move this here, and it seems to be really effective.
I love his work ethic, Chris. I was back when he was doing the Academy Awards. It was when I was hanging out at the Improv in L.A. and he would come in every night and work on the set. And I would watch him every single night. And he's such a wordsmith. He doesn't care about and the way he does it is.
That's what I love about it, the way he works it, the way you get ready to say. I know it. Yeah.
He goes up on stage and he doesn't play up Chris Rock. He reads it almost monotone.
Yeah.
Where
because he wants to see if the joke is a 100%, joke.
Because he'll get laughs from being Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to sell the joke by being Chris Rock. But if it's a great show, and then he sells it as being Chris Rock. It crushes, So, but the material's got to be first.
That's like That's what I love about it because I think him and Chappelle did a bunch of tours together, and then him and Chappelle and Kevin Hart did. All 3 of them did some shows together. Even Chappelle said, he said, I didn't see all the Will Smith stuff until. Like everybody else.
When he did the show.
Because he was so
badass.
From what I understand, it was so crafty about it was that he knew everybody was watching him.
Yeah.
So he would fit a line in here, a line in there.
Right.
And so then by the time he got to the special, there was that whole clip at the end, and everybody's like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
He had been working it here and there and there, and they just put it all in the bank, and then they put it all together. And I'm like,
dude, you know what makes that even more badass? The fact that that tape was that special was taped live, so it's not like he could workshop that bit a bunch of times. It was recorded live.
Yeah.
So he had to have. So he took a line from here and put it all together. He could have only rehearsed that maybe in his head or.
But they've been doing. But if you've been doing those lines forever, and he's just like. He's just lasering on that, like you said, man.
But then to remember where the lines go, then like I've done that where you throw in a line here, but then when you do the bit. When you finally do the bit, all the lines have got to be in a certain order to go the right way. And for him to do it live, that's just it blows me away.
They still got like a teleprompter for him.
Yeah.
But I have to send you the clip with you'll see the Kanban board.
Yeah.
It's wild, because Kevin Hart's looking at it going, man, I'm impressed by what you do, Chris, because. When I do my shit just got to go.
Yeah.
Right? It's just whatever I got.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I'm dumping it all the fucking table, man.
And that's another guy, too, man, who I don't understand the Kevin Hart hate.
Yeah.
There's nobody who works harder than that son of a bitch, man.
I know.
right? And everybody goes, oh, he uses writers. Well, Richard did it too.
Fuck, everybody uses writers.
Yeah, Chris is probably one of the only people.
Yeah.
Who Chris Rock's only one of the only people that doesn't use many writers. I know he's taken Chappelle's giving him lines.
Yeah.
Hart has given him lines. Bill Cosby gave him a line once.
Yeah.
But he won't tell anybody what it was.
Right.
It was I think it might have been the John McCain line.
Okay.
Where he talks about, you see, you hired his nurse to be his running mate.
Yeah.
I think he goes. It might have been the line where he goes, John McCain's so old he used to own Sidney Poitier. But he won't tell everybody what the line was.
Right.
So those are my only two guesses. But who was it? Neil Brennan. Neil Brennan had a line about Chris Rock. He goes, Chris doesn't really need writers, but he collects writers. He collects comedy writers like rappers collect chains. He just likes having them around.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, sometimes it helps your it's like sitting in a writer's room, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once the creative juices are flowing, if we're all throwing out lines, and your mind's working, your mind's right there.
Exactly.
So maybe you're not taking the lines, but they're putting you in a state of mind where you can operate, and you're constantly spewing stuff out together. That's why writers' rooms are so much fun.
Okay, and tell me this, man, because I got a story for you on this one. In fact, I'll send you the link for this.
Okay.
You remember a guy named David A. Arnold?
No, I don't remember.
He had a Netflix show called Fat Ballerina. And another Netflix special called "It Ain't for the Weak."
No,
he passed away a couple years ago, right?
All right.
Funny man. But there's a interview he did with Kevin Hart on his thing, and so here's the question: how long do you hold on to jokes?
Oh, it's you know what? It's harder for us because being on ships, I hold on to them forever. You know what I mean?
Dude, we're not the only ones. Okay,
Arnold, and Seinfeld does. Seinfeld still has jokes.
Seinfeld just takes the bottom 10% and he gets rid of them, and he writes new ones.
Right.
So but dude, Arnold tells a story about going to see Dave Chappelle. This like maybe 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
And Chappelle that's when he used to drop in. He'd do like 4-hour sets.
Yeah.
He said that he started at midnight. When he left the club, the sun was getting ready to come up. Yeah. That's how long Chappelle was on. And he said, I stayed for the whole thing.
Wow.
Because I wanted to see, how do you hold the crowd for 4 or 5 hours?
Dude,
how do you do that?
From midnight to 4 in the morning, by the way.
That's how long he was there. And he said there was a joke in there that Chappelle did that night that he just saw him use in a special not less than a year ago.
Okay.
So he held on to that thing for that long.
Right.
And it's like how long do you hold on to jokes? Like,
you hold on to them forever, man. I mean, if you can use it, why not use it? Did you, I've got notebooks and now footage and recordings, all kinds of stuff. There's plenty of times I'll be watching an old tape or something. I'll go, I can bring that back now and do this.
Yeah, we had a young guy on one of the comedy pages on Facebook. Some guy asked that question: how long do y'all hold on to jokes? So all these youngsters in there talking about, I just do them until I get tired of them, then I write new stuff. And everybody's talking about how I get rid of this, I write new this, and I just posted in there, I get rid of a joke when it stops paying a bill.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, there are jokes that I've gotten rid of because they're outdated. You know what I mean? They're like, that joke doesn't work.
Or you do the Joan Rivers thing and you rewrite it. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can take a scenario and the character changes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's the same story. Well, political jokes are great for that. You know, or any kind of political base. I mean, they're all, either way, every election's the same bullshit. You know, I'm amazed every 4 years we fall for the same pitch and bullshit, and everybody does this, and it's always the economy and all these shit. Whatever.
It works for us.
Yeah, I know, right? No, you're right. It works for us perfectly.
Now you're like, I got this chunk, and now I can add 2 more bits to that chunk.
Yeah,
right.
Now it's something. Now it's fresh.
Yeah, and then
did you ever read a Comic Insights by Franklin Ajaya?
Oh, I loved it. That's one of my favorite books ever, man.
Yeah, all the stuff we're talking about now is basically the 10 comics he talked to. I was amazed by, I think it was Sinbad and was it Elaine Boozler or someone else that said that they don't write anything down.
Well, Sinbad's a phenom.
Right.
So was
only if you don't do that.
Yes, Elaine was like that too. Because they used to come to Denver all the time.
Yeah.
Denver Comedy Works is one of the top 10 clubs in the country.
Was a big
actually in the world.
Yeah, I try to get in there.
And yeah, Sinbad, and we used to have weeks. We have Sinbad, Elaine Boozler, Seinfeld, Leno, Louis Anderson, Bill Maher. All those people used to come through, and it'd be every week.
Right.
So it was like going to comedy college.
Yeah.
And those guys, that's back when they were rising, man. I remember one time walking through downtown Denver, and somebody thumped me upside the back of the head. And I turned around like, what the fuck? Who the fuck? Right? And I look down the way, right behind this lady. Jay Leno pops up like, and keeps walking. Because he was working the club that week.
Yeah, right.
I had opened for him, and he just, pow!
Oh, that's very cool.
It just kept on walking.
Yeah.
It was crazy stuff like that, man. Yeah. Shoot, man. All those guys, and when Louis used to come, Denver was his second home.
Yeah.
And Roseanne Barr was my comedy mom before she switched up and does all. Dude,
I saw Louis was the first guy I saw live, ever. Louis Anderson, and then after that was Kinnison. But,
oh man, I worked with Kinnison a couple times, man, and I worked with him. And not really worked for him, just opened the show, just held the show until he got there.
Yeah.
The best place was Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is where his family is.
Yeah.
Dude,
really?
Yeah. So I was
in a theater?
At the comedy club, at the Looney Bin.
Yeah.
And when that entrance, it was at a different location, and the entrance, there was an entrance that led outside, but it was the stage is here, and there was a door that led right outside.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like a side of the building or an alley.
Right.
And I'm on stage, man. I was supposed to do 20 minutes. 40 minutes has gone by. Nobody's seen Kinnison.
Right.
45 minutes goes by. All of a sudden the door opens to the side and you hear, "I got it, Lou." And he walks on stage, he just taps it, and everybody goes crazy. This is hometown.
Yeah.
And then he just proceeds to kill for like an hour.
Right.
It was amazing times. Bill Hicks used to come through Denver all the time.
I never saw Hicks.
If you go through like some of Hicks's old albums, you could hear me and a bunch of other Denver comics in the back laughing.
Really?
Because he would put his recorder. He'd have, like we were talking about. He'd have the mic, and then he'd have another mic in the back of the room.
Right.
And you could hear us laughing in the back.
Right.
It's the oddest damn thing.
Yeah.
So, we've come on, bro. We've seen some crazy shit, man.
No. In Chicago we had the Funny Firm, and everybody came through there, and Zanies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where I saw, I was a big Carl Laveau fan. I love Carl. Carl was the guy.
Dude, that guy.
Just talking about, I never seen anybody. I worked the crowd a lot, and I never seen anybody work a crowd better than Carl. It was inspiring to watch him do it.
Except for Alan Stevens.
Okay, all right, that's a good point. I've never seen Alan.
Yeah,
I've met him.
Dude, he used to come to Denver all the time. I saw Alan with 30 people in the room, do an hour and a half, and by like, I don't know, 40 minutes in, he's tying everybody into he's got a story in everybody, and he's pulling it back.
Yeah.
And he's just going, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How is he, and so, yeah. You live, you learn.
Yeah. Dude, I love those old school, just real comics, man. You don't see a lot of those guys are on ships now, man. Or a lot of the guys that are real comics are on ships. Like, I work clubs a lot.
Yeah.
But so many of the younger comics coming up, I mean, maybe because they're younger, but I don't see any old road vets anymore.
And these younger guys, it's like, who is, once again, they go back to Chris Rock, because he's like everybody's guru on this one.
Yeah.
He's Buddha. It's like, you watch some of these young guys coming up, and they say, "Oh, this is the new hot guy. This is the new hot guy."
Right.
And you watch them, and 15 minutes, 20 minutes in, after all this new and innovative, original stuff, it goes right back to girlfriends,
Sure. Yeah.
dogs, cats. It goes all back into the normal stuff.
Whatever, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you were watching over 15 minutes, going, oh, that's a cool take. That's a cool thing. All of a sudden, so my girlfriend or my wife, and it's back into the staples.
Right.
Because Chris Rock always said, no matter how different you are, you still got to be some Shecky in there.
Yeah.
Take my wife, please. There's still got to be that.
No, because the big part of comedy is association. You got to feel that's the connection the crowd feels with you. Like you're like an everyman thing. You know what I mean? They get that. Like, I get that. You do that when we're home. I mean, if you don't that's where your bread and butter is, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be clever and it's cool and it's neat, but if you're not connecting with an audience, especially if you're doing a lot of shows, you know, there's got to be connection there.
Yep. Like you look at every Chris Rock special except for the last one that he taped live.
Yeah.
Every one of those bits, every one of those shows ends with relationship stuff.
Right.
Except for the last one, he had
he did the Will Smith.
He did all the Will Smith stuff, but even in that one, there's still a chunk of relationship
of
stuff.
Course.
But everybody was waiting for their last piece, man. Yeah. And it was brutal. But he was funny.
It was funny. I thought it was funny as shit.
Yeah, man. It's like, who else was like that? Chappelle's. Man, I love watching Chappelle.
Yeah.
And there's certain bits that because he comes through Denver all the time. He does secret shows in Denver.
Right.
Because the club in Denver has, I don't know, 50,000, 100,000 people on an email list.
Yeah.
So they'll just put out. So Chappelle will say, hey, I want to come to Denver this weekend. Can you guys put that on a secret list?
Right.
So they'll send it out, and he'll sell out 4 shows just on the secret list.
Yeah, right.
At $100 a pop.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's because in that room, it's only 270, 280 people in there.
Yeah.
At $100 a pop, he's right there.
Yeah.
And he'll come in, do those shows, and I've watched. There's bits he does in the clubs, and you ask him, you go, man, you ever gonna put that on
like
film
or something?
Yeah, he's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So he's got a Chuck Berry chunk that is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Back when Prince died, Chappelle was doing a bit about when Prince died. You know how all these musicians they're playing Prince tributes. Right, and doing all the songs and stuff. Man, Chappelle was the only comic I saw do a Prince tribute chunk, and it was beautiful. Yeah, people almost crying at the end, and then he just drops this line, and they just go fucking crazy, and he's like, "Thank you, good night, bam," and it was like I wish he would put that on, would have put that on thing, but now he's probably thinking, it's too dated now.
Yeah. Well, he's another guy that's got tons and tons of material, you know what I mean? So,
but we can do that too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of
well, I think
it's a matter of freedom there. We still have we got a little bit of freedom. But like a friend of mine says, Steve White says, you know, hey, we still work for a corporation.
Right. Well, I always say all it takes is one person to complain to the right person at the right time, and you're gone.
Believe me, I know that. Yeah. I've lost money because of people's complaints on the ships.
Have you?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I know guys who have gotten weeks taken away from them, and you're like, that's shitty, especially short term. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've lost money because of people's complaints that it's had nothing to do with my shows.
Really?
Nothing to do with my shows. So
well, how that? Well, you don't want to get into that.
Nah, I'm not getting into it. But I've lost money because of people's fake complaints.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's especially I mean if they're diamond members and stuff, you're right, it's a corporation.
Yeah.
It's still a corporate game.
Yeah, nothing to do with your show. It's just a personal thing.
Right. No, and you're right.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Dude, we should wrap this up. We're at about an hour.
Okay.
Dude, this was great.
I know.
Man, I really, I love, man. I mean, real comics. I could sit for hours and talk about comedy and the development of it, and the writing, and here's what I was going to say. These younger guys, and I think every generation goes through this. I don't think when you start out, I knew guys that would go out and do 5-10 minutes of kill, and everybody thought they were great and they were good, but I don't think younger comics realize how much work goes into sustaining your act and building it and doing. I think we're affected also by social media.
Yeah.
When they put out 2-minute clips and they get a bunch of hits and they think they're great. But then you got to go do a show for an hour, or you know what I mean, on a regular basis, you don't realize how much work goes into building even a feature act.
Yeah.
Even 25 minutes. I remember trying to get my 30. You know what I mean? I remember that.
Yep, and it's like an old. I'm a Rat Pack fan. I think it was a line that Sinatra said. It's not how well you're doing; it's how long you've been doing well.
Right. Yeah, that's a really great point. Because when I started out, I was in the early 20s, and I thought if you were in your 50s or 60s and nobody knew who you were, I'm like, you're a failure. You haven't done anything. But now, I don't know if it's because I'm in my 50s or 60s, but now I realize the work to have a full schedule and be working regularly, and people are asking for you to come in and work, and you're not. Everybody knows who you are. That's success. They don't realize the hustle.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys who are internet stars, and they're not making 6 figures a year like we are.
Right. And you don't. And some of the best and hardest working, of the live performance on the seas, I think. They've tried bringing in social media guys. I've seen a few of these guys come in, a few acts. Well, they have a lot of followers. I'm like, all right, well, that's not going to... There's a difference between followers and views, first of all. And you're not going to, even if they're... We're not at the point yet where people are booking cruises to see the YouTube guy or whatever. You know what I mean?
But they always think like that. Even back in the day, before social media, I'm not going to say the name, but I was working with a guy once, and we were going to a theater.
Okay.
Right? And so it was a bunch of us, and we're all going to this theater, and so everybody's working to try to make sure their people are going to get in the theater. Everybody's supposed to be posting everything. And then one of the guys who was on the show said, yeah, that posting thing, that's not for me. I sold some CDs last time I was there. I'm just going to let those people know. So, I'm looking at him like, really? So we're going to rely on the 5 or 6 people that bought a CD from you well, the last time you were in town to help us fill up a 500-seat theater.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, the rest of us are busting our ass.
Yeah. It was the dumbest damn thing, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what happens, man. But young guys, some of them get it. There are some that are funny.
Yeah.
And that's when you really start going, yes.
Yeah.
I like this.
Well, I like Taylor Tomlinson. I'm a big fan of her voice. She's a great writer, and I like to see different generations have a voice. And she's perfect. It's cool to me to see the younger generation, Gen Z, and material through their eyes. I live a lot through my daughters who are in their 20s. You know what I mean? I listen to what they say. Now, I've met a couple of kids on the ships. Here's where it's disheartening. Though there's one kid, I'm not going to mention his name. He was worried. He didn't have a lot of material. He had a lot of YouTube followers, but he didn't have a lot of material. So he said, I don't have that much material. I don't know if I can do the shows.
Yeah.
He goes up and he's got some great jokes. I mean, great jokes. And he comes up. I go, dude, you can write. I go, it's obvious. I go, you're a good writer. I go, you need to write more and keep writing.
Yeah, because you can't jump cut on the ship.
No.
You can't do a jump cut on it. I'm just going to cut to all the good bits. No, there's no jump cut here.
The drop off is noticeable. Like you said, you're like, it's brilliant, and then it's crap.
Yeah.
It's just so harsh. The crowd's like, what happened? Did that guy leave? So I'm like, you just need to write the material.
There's some guys I follow online. I'm like, that motherfucker's hilarious.
Yeah.
But you never see any stand up.
Right.
You ever just go to somebody's social
all the time, dude.
and you never see stand up?
Every time I'm working with someone I don't know, I go right to their socials.
You'll see photos of them on stage.
And flyers.
And flyers. and all this action stuff. It's like, but you never see stand up.
There's no clips anywhere. There's no a 3-minute clip anywhere.
Like I got dates coming up in Denver, man.
Yeah.
And so right now I haven't posted any stand up. I'm just gonna see what happens. Yeah. It's all flashy photo transitions and flashy video transitions and stuff.
Yeah,
I want to see what happens.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what? I'm still gonna try to pad it. I know. Next week I'm gonna panic and go. Yeah. Okay, let me just start contacting people. I'm gonna get some shit out. Dude, right to camera, plug whatever you want to plug. Website, your socials. Oh, look, all my socials, just go to Louis Johnson Comedy, LOUIS Johnson Comedy, and that's on Facebook and Instagram. Just join me there. All my links are going to be there. And the website is louisjohnsonComedy.com. But go to the Facebook and the Instagram. Everything is there.
Bam. All right, man. Thank you.
No, thank you, man. It's always good, bro.
Yeah.
You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.